24,000. That's how many Lois Lerner emails could be permanently lost, according to the lead government watchdog for the IRS. This week, the Treasury Inspector General told the House Oversight Committee that IRS employees erased computer backup tapes that likely contained emails related to the tax agency's Tea Party scandal. A lead investigator said the workers might be incompetent, but there was no willful conspiracy to destroy evidence. House Republicans not buying it. Joining me now, co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots and Citizens for Self-Governance, Mark Meckler. You also have a case involving the IRS that you're involved with. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we're talking about 422 backup tapes. There was an order in place, preserve potential evidence. Those got erased, and the explanation that we're hearing so far is apparently, if anything, it was a mistake, but it wasn't willful. Can you accept that explanation?
Well, absolutely not. No rational person can accept that explanation, and this has been the path of the IRS since the very beginning of these revelations. Initially, Lois Lerner reveals that they had this program. The whole program was an accident. Nobody important was involved. Then they find out more and more important people are involved. Then Lois Lerner's hard drive is accidentally destroyed. If you believe this, I mean, it's just astounding to me that anybody can even allege that these things were accidents. It's a pattern. It's a long-term pattern, and somebody needs to be held to account.
All right, the Inspector General also says that he found that the IRS never looked at 5 of the 6 potential places where emails might have been stored, including the server. This is their own watchdog who's saying basically, even if you're not saying they willfully destroyed something, they didn't even look where they potentially could have found what they were ordered to find.
You know, in the civilian world, in the non-governmental world, these things would lead to heads rolling. They would lead to possible criminal charges, fraud, impeding an investigation charges. Those are the kinds of things that are going to have to come down in this IRS case if we're going to prevent this behavior in the future, because right now, really, nobody has been held accountable in any way of consequence.
Well, and that's the question. Do you think with all of the bluster and all of the press releases and all of the frustrations by those who are investigating this, expressing outrage, are we really going to get anywhere? Are the American people going to get answers? Are they going to get justice? We know that the Justice Department has, in some cases involved and attached to this, said there's nothing to see here, we're moving on, there is no criminal investigation. There are several investigations still ongoing. But for as much as we talk about it, are you confident anybody will actually be held accountable?
No, I'm not confident at all, and history shows us that they won't. Congressional hearings full of bluster don't make for prosecutions. We've got a Department of Justice that's clearly and completely politicized. They're not going to prosecute anybody. You've got a president that's already assured us at the very top of the ladder that there's not even a smidgen of corruption at the IRS. So with all those things in place, it's literally impossible for there to be any justice from the government itself. The only chance for justice is for private citizens to hold the IRS accountable.
Okay, you are involved with one of the only remaining lawsuits, maybe the only still active lawsuit against the IRS related to the Tea Party scandal. What can you tell us about the status of that case?
Sure. Citizens for Self-Governance is a third-party funder of a lawsuit. We're paying for the litigation on behalf of all these Tea Party groups, Christian groups, pro-Israel groups that were targeted by the federal government for additional unconstitutional scrutiny. That lawsuit is moving forward. We've made it past the motions to dismiss. The other suits in Washington, D.C. got blown out on the motion to dismiss phase. They're in the appeal phase. But we're moving forward. We're moving into discovery. We've been winning discovery victories. The federal government has been ordered to turn over the list of all, the official internal list of all organizations that were targeted. They're resisting that. They're also subpoenaing our organization. We're not even involved in the litigation other than funding it. They've issued a broad, unconstitutional subpoena asking for communications between our organization and our attorneys. So we're fighting that. They're using all the same heavy-handed tactics against this litigation that they used against the Tea Party groups in the first place. It's just a perfect mirror image.
All right, well, we will continue to follow your lawsuit. We know Judicial Watch and others have been fighting to get some of these records as well. And we'll see if the now erased emails stay erased or if they do exist somewhere else. All right, Mark, thank you for joining us. Good to see you today.
Thanks for having me, Shannon.